Junior mining doesn't move forward because of a single intercept. Intercepts are snapshots. Mining moves forward because a small group of people decide where to look, when to wait, and when to lean in. They decide when a result is noise and when it's signal. Today, we're focusing on two companies that illustrate that truth from very different angles. Cariboo Resources in British Columbia and Total Metals Corp in Ontario. Different stages, different camps, different styles, but both built around teams with deep memory and very specific conviction. Welcome back to another episode of the JuniorMining.gold podcast, where we slow the noise down and spend time on the part of this business that actually determines outcomes. I'm your host, Dusty Nuggets, and today we're talking about something that never shows up cleanly in a press release and never fits neatly into a drill table: the role of the junior explorer team itself. Not the rocks in isolation, not the headline intercepts, but the people behind the decisions, the history they carry, the instincts they trust, and the quiet judgment calls that decide whether a project compounds value or slowly bleeds it away. Before we dig into the dirt, this episode is brought to you by JuniorMining.gold. Are you tired of missing the boat on the next big discovery? JuniorMining.gold is your ultimate radar for the high-stakes world of small-cap mining. We track the drills, the assays, and the movers so you don't have to. If you want the edge in the outback, head over to JuniorMining.gold. Now, let's get to the gold. Junior mining doesn't move forward because of a single intercept. Intercepts are snapshots. Mining moves forward because a small group of people decide where to look, when to wait, and when to lean in. They decide when a result is noise and when it's signal. Today we're focusing on two companies that illustrate that truth from very different angles: Cariboo Resources in British Columbia and Total Metals Corp in Ontario. Different stages, different camps, different styles, but both built around teams with deep memory and very specific conviction. Here at JuniorMining.gold, we've also been quietly doing what we do in the background. While most people argue about grades on social media, we've been running AI-assisted volumetric and economic potential assessments on both of these projects, benchmarking them against real outcomes in comparable districts. Not blue sky scenarios, not perfect worlds, prudent assumptions, boring math, the kind that doesn't go viral but does keep you out of trouble. We're not here to hype numbers, but when experience on the ground lines up with disciplined modeling behind the scenes, it gets our attention. Those full assessments are being finalized now and will be available exclusively to subscribers, because real work usually happens off-stage. Let's start in the Cariboo. Cariboo Resources is about rediscovery, but not the romantic, sepia-toned version people like to sell. This is rediscovery in the hard-earned, pattern recognition sense. Their flagship is the Quesnel Gold Quartz Mine property, a large land package in British Columbia's historic Cariboo Gold District. This isn't grassroots exploration in an unknown belt. This is a second look at a district that already proved what it can do, and a disciplined attempt to figure out what earlier generations missed, skipped, or simply didn't have the tools to see. At the center of that effort is Frank Callaghan, President and CEO. Frank stepped into this role in early 2024, but his relationship with the Cariboo goes back decades. He was assembling the Cariboo Gold Project in the 1990s, made the Bonanza Ledge discovery, processed bulk samples, oversaw roughly 150,000 meters of drilling, and helped bring that project into production. He rebuilt the QR mine and mill, poured gold again, and ultimately led Barkerville Gold Mines through a major acquisition that reshaped the district. That history matters because intuition in mining isn't magic, it's scar tissue. When Frank talks about instinct, he's talking about having seen early signals that were real and plenty that weren't. His view is that Quesnel sits along the same structural and geological trend as Osisko's Cariboo Gold Project, and that the signatures emerging there today feel familiar in the right way. Not exciting first, familiar first. That's usually how the good ones start. He's not alone in that assessment. Cariboo's technical bench is deliberately deep. Independent geological oversight comes from Gene Potler, a qualified person with more than 40 years of mineral exploration experience across Canada and a long track record of NI 43.101 work on serious discoveries. Regional context and economic geology insight are supported by Hassan Haidarian, whose work with the British Columbia Geological Survey adds another layer of discipline around structure, system type, and scale. On the ground, the broader team includes structural specialists, project managers, and field geologists with direct experience in major discoveries, including the original Cariboo work. This is not a thin team stretched across too much land. It's a group assembled to answer very specific questions about continuity, controls, and size. In mining terms, this is less lottery ticket and more forensic accounting. The progress over the last 2 years reflects that approach. In 2024, Golden Cariboo cleaned up its capital structure, then moved aggressively into fieldwork, drilling and trenching at Quesnel. Multiple parallel gold zones were identified. The Halo Zone emerged with visible gold, consistent mineralization, and meaningful widths. Outcrop sampling extended known mineralization by roughly a kilometer. Drill results confirmed near-surface continuity, and the company expanded its land position dramatically, staking nearly 91,000 hectares to control the broader system. They also adopted advanced assay technology to improve grade accuracy. That's a small decision that says a lot. Teams that are guessing want faster headlines. Teams that are confident want better data. Financing followed, oversubscribed, allowing work to continue without interruption. In 2025, that momentum carried forward. A 2-phase drill program pushed deeper and farther, extending the Halo Zone and confirming geological contacts that support the broader thesis. Long intercepts, visible gold at depth, and parallel zones like KM-Uno reinforce the idea that this isn't a one-structure story. Soil anomalies and geophysics continue to light up new targets. Drilling paused briefly for the holidays, but plans are already in place to resume in early 2026. When we ran Golden Cariboo through our internal AI-based volumetric and economic benchmarking using conservative assumptions and real Cariboo analogs, the results were strong enough that we're now finalizing a subscriber-only report focused on scale potential and development pathways, not promises, probabilities. In this business, that distinction keeps you solvent. Now let's shift to Ontario. Total Metals Corp is almost the opposite story in terms of timeline, but not in terms of intent. Launched in August 2025, the company didn't inherit a legacy portfolio or a long narrative. What it started with was a very clear idea of what kind of team it wanted to build and where that team could actually compete. Leading the company is Tyler Thorburn, President and CEO from day one. Tyler's background isn't flashy, but it's highly relevant. He started his career coordinating land, permitting, and stakeholder relations for major energy companies, spending years dealing with the practical realities of operating in regulated environments and working with First Nations. That experience doesn't show up in drill results, but it shows up later when projects move or don't. Over the last several years, Tyler focused on public markets and corporate development, helping junior resource companies assemble assets and capital. When Total Metals launched, the strategy was aggressive but narrow. Acquire high-grade gold projects in districts where the team already knew the rules of the game. Exploration is led by Robert Pensack, Vice President of Exploration, with 30 years across Gold Corp, Yamana, and Pan American. Red Lake isn't theoretical for him. It's a place he's worked, struggled, and succeeded. Supporting him is Tim Toomey, a 40-year veteran and one of the geologists behind Gold Corp's high-grade zone discovery. Technical oversight comes from David Berga and Colin Bowditch, both with decades of experience evaluating resources and guiding juniors through complex geological decisions. This is a Red Lake-heavy team by design. High-grade systems don't forgive sloppy thinking. They pinch, they swell, they disappear if you misread structure. Teams that haven't lived through that tend to learn the hard way. The progress in 2025 reflects that clarity. Within months of formation, Total Metals initiated exploration at the Electrolode project, rehabilitating infrastructure, re-logging and resampling historical core, and mapping ahead of planned drilling. They acquired the High Lake and West Hawk Lake properties for $9.25 million, added the Minari Gold Project in the Rainy River District with extraordinary historic grades, closed financings to fund the work, rang the TSX Venture Exchange opening bell, and built out the corporate team to support growth. This wasn't about telling a long story. It was about assembling optionality quickly and responsibly before the market noticed. We've applied the same AI-assisted volumetric and economic benchmarking framework to Total Metals' portfolio, comparing it against known Red Lake and Rainy River analogs. Those assessments are nearing completion and, like the Gold and Cariboo work, will be released exclusively to JuniorMining.gold subscribers. Again, not promotional pieces. Decision tools designed to help investors understand what kinds of outcomes are plausible if the geology cooperates and the team executes. When you step back and look at both of these companies together, the common thread isn't geography or age, it's judgment. Teams that have been through cycles, teams that know when to push and when to pause, teams that understand that intuition, when it's earned, is just compressed experience. Junior Mining lives or dies on those decisions. And as we continue building out our AI-based assessment platform here at JuniorMining.gold, our goal is simple. Pair human experience with disciplined analysis and give subscribers a clearer lens on where real potential might exist before the noise takes over. If this episode resonated, make sure you're subscribed to the podcast, follow us on X, and keep an eye out for the upcoming subscriber-only reports on Golden Cariboo and Total Metals. Those will go deeper into economic potential, development scenarios, and how these projects stack up against the benchmarks that actually matter. That's it for this week's dig. If you want more deep dives into the miners making moves, don't wait for the next episode. Get the data yourself at JuniorMining.gold. They are the leading edge for junior resource investors who want the truth without the fluff. I'm Dusty Nugget. Stay bold, stay scrappy, and I'll see you at the next drill site. You can learn more at JuniorMining.gold. Please like, subscribe, and visit our socials or our Substack for more content.